Candy soap. I know it's only August, but peppermint holds its smell in soap for a really long time, so we are getting ready for the holiday season. We're going to do a 4-pound batch today, and I'm going to go ahead and suit up for safety. So my oils and lye are both in the high 90s for temp. I'm going to go ahead and pour this, and let's roll. I'll set that aside to rinse later. Immersion blender. I used lighter colored oils to help naturally promote this to be white, but I am using palm oil, I am using titanium dioxide and kaolin clay to make it extra white. So this is not a natural soap, just for clarification. I think we are about at trace already. I'm going to go ahead and pour in my peppermint oil. So this is 3 ounces of peppermint oil for the 4 pounds of soap. So it is on the heavier sided of scenting, but still within the safe range. Peppermint soap is so refreshing. All right. So I am going to split off a little bit of this to be a red decorative pour line on top. Just a small amount. That's probably good. I really need to invest in some better mixing bowls. Gotta have a pour spout. I've got a couple, but I need to get like a giant glass one. I've been using these stainless steel ones and then just this circle one for now. All right, so in a majority of this, we're going to be doing the kaolin clay and white titanium dioxide. And I disperse this in water. For the decorative peppermint fun streak, I'm using red mica. And I disperse this in olive oil. You can never get all of it out. So I got these reusable little tiny white dishes so that way I can rinse them and reuse instead of having to throw more plastic away. Okay. I'll stir that up with the spatula. That made a lovely deep red. So that should be just perfect for what I'm going for. And this is a nice narrow pour spout, so that way we can try to pour some finer lines for the details. Hopefully that will be enough for the entire batch. I'm going to make smaller, skinnier bars this time. Ooh, that is thickening up fast. Just warning you, I am a very messy soap maker. Okay, still has a slight hint of yellow to it. Hopefully it'll lighten up some, but I really don't want to add any more of the titanium dioxide to it. So we're just going to go with this for now. It's close enough. It'll still look nice, and of course will feel really nice. So I'm actually going to pour it into this smaller container just to make it easier to pour it into the molds, and I'll just do a little bit at a time. Okay, I'm going to slide all of this back. This is the tough part, is I have to do this in my basement because I have nowhere else to do it, and I have kids and pets. So this is just the nature of my soap making life. many of these 24 circle molds we end up filling. I'm going to pour them maybe half to 2/3. I want to be able to cover these to reduce soda ash when I pop them in the oven. Alright, so because this thickened up so much, what I'll just do is make another really small batch and add some red to do the rest of the decoration for the other half of this. So I'll show you how this turns out in a couple of days. I'm going to do just a little swirl on top. I think these actually turned out pretty cool. I would do a little less red on top so that the white could shine through for a cooler design. But I just went through with a bamboo stick and just kind of swirled around and did some fun designs on top. I know it looks sloppy right now, but I'll show you the finished product in a few days when it hardens up, and I'll unmold it. And I think it's still okay. Looks cool. I'm going to try another batch. So I overmixed, especially on the red part. So next time, mix less, keep it nice and watery, so that way it gives you that flexibility to pour nice thin lines, because what I wanted to do is like a triple line and then just kind of do a fun little swirl in the middle of it. So I'll do another batch sometime and then include a video of that so you can compare and see how it turned out. So I'm going to pop these in the oven and we'll see you in a few days to unmold. It has been 3 days and I just popped out all of the peppermint candy soaps. And let me tell you, they are still a little soft. I probably should have waited another day, but this is just a little sampling of what they look like. Whew, almost lost one there. So, my favorite ones out of all of this are obviously the ones that have more white on them, because this is what my original look was that I was going for. So I am going to make another batch, and there's a few things I'm going to do differently next time, so I'll show you how those ones turn out. I am actually teaching a soap making class for some ladies from church in a couple months, and these were intended for them, so hopefully they'll be forgiving with me that these are not the most beautiful, but they are still very usable. However, number one, I forgot to cover them. I sprayed them with isopropyl alcohol to reduce possibility of soda ash, but I forgot to actually like lay some cardboard or something over top of them, so they did get slightly ashy. Here's a good example of that. So just the colors don't pop as much. There's nothing wrong with them, it's just the lye is reacting with the oxygen. So next time what I'm going to do is pour a little bit less, and I'm going to mix less. So from start to finish, mix less so it's more liquidy, and then pour off a little bit less because I ended up having more red than I needed anyways. But then I will add the peppermint oil into the big batch that I'm going to turn white. I'm not even going to add peppermint oil to the red part because that, I think, caused it to thicken up faster as well as me mixing it too much. So I'll just pour off some really light trace into a separate bucket and then work with the white part and the peppermint oil and get those poured. And then I'll go back to that light trace batch and add in some red mica and stir it up. And then I'm going to put it into a condiment squeeze bottle and try a thinner line that way. So we'll see how that works. So come back in a few days and I'll let you know how that turns out. So I ended up going with my plan, and I did a slightly higher amount of water just to keep it liquidy a little bit longer, and it worked beautifully. Check out my technique here. Okay, so here's the finished product. This bottom row is what I had made from the first batch, and then the top row is the fun swirl from the second batch, and I am definitely happy with how that turned out. Thank you again for joining me on this learning adventure. Don't forget to subscribe for more soapy videos, and I will see you soon.